Recently I watched a video about the very interesting and very unique Dutch activity of canal jumping. I don't think that happens anywhere else in the world. And something someone recommended is also very unique to the Netherlands is this, the Dutch Headwind Cycling Championships, and it says here are amazing. So looking at the thumbnail of this video, it was a cyclist going into fast winds. So again, I've learned about the Dutch weather, how that can get a bit extreme in certain places, especially with the wind. Tell me what's the strongest wind you've ever experienced in the Netherlands. But to actually make a sport out of it, ingenious. Can't wait to see this. Tell me if you've actually seen this in person, the Dutch Headwind Cycling Championships. Let's watch and learn.
I'm standing on the Oosterscheldekering, the largest part of the Dutch Delta Works. It is a mega structure, an enormous dam 9 kilometres long with 4 kilometres of sluice gates that can be closed to hold back extreme high tides and stop the Netherlands flooding. It took a decade to build, and it is a rallying cry of human planning, survival and achievement.
For sure
and it is not what I'm here to talk about. 3 days ago, a forecast came in. A storm is going to hit. Winds will gust up to 120 kilometres an hour on this barrier. And so a different rallying cry went up. 3 words, "We krijgen storm." A storm is coming. Because today is NKTK Windfietsen, the Dutch Headwind Cycling Championships. Several hundred Dutch people looked at this weather and said, we're going to have a bike race in that.
That's what I learned in that last video from Dumper I watched about Dutch weather. As soon as the weather gets extreme, and in most countries people go indoors, save themselves, but in the Netherlands people do all sorts of crazy stuff, get the big parasails, the like parachute things, fly about all over the place. So to see that this is actually a very short-term planned thing, and people are just like, yeah, let's get out there and just take advantage of this in the most unique way, says a lot about the Dutch spirit. I love it. And yeah, learning a bit more about the Delta Works, what I've learned about on other videos as well. So this is kind of combining a lot of things I've learned about the Netherlands and putting it into one video in a very cool sporting championship. Love it.
The course is 8.5 brutal kilometers. It's a serious event with permissions and everything. We have a limit of 300 participants. All the bikes are the same. No gears and just an ordinary brake, and it's a typical Dutch bike.
Have you done it?
Yes, 2 times.
How difficult is it?
Very. I do triathlon in my spare time, and it's just as hard.
At high speed, up to 90% of the drag on a cyclist is from air resistance. And I naively assumed, because it's been 15 years since I studied high school physics, that it'd be an equal action-reaction thing, double the wind speed, double the drag. But that's only true when there's no turbulence. In a situation like this, the drag increases with the square of wind speed. Double the wind speed, quadruple the drag force.
Crazy,
the
man.
difference between cycling in a 15 kilometre an hour headwind and 120 kilometre an hour gust is 64 times the added drag.
Jeez.
Why are you doing this? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
That's like pretty much how I expected the answer to be, man. These guys are just out for a good time, or these people are just out for a good time. Don't know why they're doing it, just for the challenge, just for something to do. I love it. Again, adding in the Dutch bicycle itself, I didn't realise it was just the kind of standard bicycle that they could use, no gears, which obviously increases the challenge. Yeah, these people are really like gluttons for punishment out here doing that, but I guess it's a good way to get fresh air, which is always good for the mental health as well. Yeah.
Regularly do bike races and things like this?
No, just bike for fun.
How do you think it's going to be?
Hard, very hard.
Success.
Thank you.
And sure, it's a good, weird human interest story, right? People are doing a deliberately difficult thing and hurting themselves just enough that it's interesting. But this is a good place for it, because not only are humans literally pushing against the storm and saying, we can beat you, they're on a physical monument to doing just that. There's a big rock in the middle of the barrier with an inscription that translates as, "Here, the tide is ruled by the wind, the moon, and us."
Ooh. That's actually brilliant, man. Yeah, like it's like not every day you get to do such an interesting thing on such a feat of engineering, amazing human ingenuity, and just like such a powerful place, man. Like, such a great thing for the Netherlands. It's one thing I do want to learn a bit more in depth about is the Delta work. So tell me more about it. Have you been there as well? Have you been when it's so windy? But yeah, like, again, really combining a lot of things I've learned about Netherlands into one kind of activity. And about the Dutch personality as much as I've learned about all these other things as well. So yeah, fantastic. Tell me what you think about this. Have you seen it before? Have you ever taken part? Would you ever take part? And do they do anything like this? Is there any other interesting, unique activities around the Netherlands? Thanks.